What do we got? Did you see the pay-per-view?
Some of it, yeah.
No.
Okay. Anything that you want to talk about it? Anything
I
that
mean,
you want to?
I just thought let's talk about how it ties into how it tied into Raw. That basically
Now, did you like the last match? Were you intrigued at all? Either one of you guys, when the girl was Lacey Evans was a referee, and then she nut shotted him, and then you thought that this guy was gonna win, but then
yeah, the Lacey Evans thing was just
Right.
I mean, it was just kind of
Yeah.
You got you when you have a guest ref like that, it's a heel ref.
Yeah.
You got to really cover the details.
Right.
And like if what the decisions that she's making make sense,
Right. Well, she kept changing him. Like, remember they used to do that. Remember they used to do that in the Attitude Era.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I didn't like Samoa Joe losing, and now all of a sudden he's the number one contender. Brother, they book opposite there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you're elevating. Like Ricochet should have been the guy going after Kofi. Like the basic traditional booking. So like think if this was the UFC, right? And that Tony Ferguson fought Connor, okay? And Tony Ferguson beat Connor. And then they had Connor fight. The next thing he's fighting Khabib, and people be going, "What the fuck? Well, why? Wait a second. Shouldn't Tony Ferguson be the one fighting Khabib?"
Bro, it just almost feels to me like
I don't get it. How they're.
This is what I almost feel like sometimes. I almost feel like they're hot-shotting, like they're we lost Moxley. We don't want Ricochet to be upset, or the fans to be upset because we haven't pushed Ricochet. Let's put it on him, And so they're doing a lot of hot-shotting to try to figure out how they can fix things. That's how I almost feel it. You know what I'm saying?
And here's the thing too. And this is it's.
Did you get
fake,
that feeling
it's
at
like
all?
here's the narrative I'm getting. I'm getting the fake narrative where so you're putting together some matches that would be good matches, like a good wrestling match, right? But it's like your storyline to get there is just like you're just completely negligible. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and the funniest thing is there's like a narrative because Samoa Joe now is fighting Kofi. Like, here was the weirdest thing. This is how dumb the fans are. Is people are talking about how cool it is that Joe now is getting his title chance, but then forgetting the basic principles of combat sports and wait a second, Joe just lost. I just don't. I mean, the narrative is hey, has anybody noticed how good the show has been the past couple weeks? It's like, no, the show's not good. Nothing's changed. All they're doing is putting a couple in-ring matches that you.
Well, what happened is that
good matches, but your storylines are still atrocious.
Right. But what happened was in the pay-per-view they had some good matches. Okay.
Right.
But still, yeah. But
I still want to ask you this.
But I watched Raw and I was like, bro, I'll give you an example. How ridiculous!
I was going to ask you on Raw, what storylines are going on now that if I want to catch up on the show, what stories are going on that show?
Just
Corbin and Lacey against Seth and Becky.
Right.
It's not a real story. That's just a hodgepodge thrown together.
But it's a story.
It's
a story.
Seth and
it's not even a story though.
Seth and Becky are a couple. They're both the top champions, and Corbin and what's her name again? Lacey formed an alliance to get the titles off these guys, and they're gonna do it by any means necessary. There's a story.
That's the story.
And that's going to be the tag match for the next pay-per-view in Philly, and I guarantee you they're gonna pull the switch in Philadelphia. After that show, Corbin and Lacey Evans are going to be the Universal and the Women's Champion. They're going to do it right here in Philly, leaving that crowd thrilled.
I just thought, let me see if I can. I'm trying to remember some of the matches. I'll tell you one thing that I thought was brutal. How about the Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman tug of war?
What happened?
Bro, they show before the show, Strowman pulling a truck, okay? And then they show another one where Bobby Lashley has a rope against a light pole. Like he's pulling and he breaks the rope because he's so strong. And these two guys are going to meet in a tug of war. And I was like, bro, that looks so fucking ridiculous. And they get in there and they put like a tape in the middle of the fucking ring and they put a rope. And, it's a tug of war. You got to pull the guy over the line. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so they do this thing, so cheesy, so badly done. You could tell it almost felt to me none of these two guys wanted to even do this skit to begin with. And so, of course, at the beginning, Lashley brings Strowman all the way to the line. Then all of a sudden, Strowman's pulling him in. And just as it looks like he's going to put him across the line, Lashley hits him. Really weak shit. It was really badly done. And I was like, wow, that's what you have for these two guys that to me are money. And I'm like, that's brutal.
I think it's always, as a fan and a viewer, if I see there's a tug of war coming up, I'm probably changing the channel. I mean, it's difficult to make that really entertaining. That and the old arm wrestling match.
Bro, if you got the right people and they want to do it, don't make it entertaining, you know. But you got probably two guys that are probably hearing this and going, fuck, man, we're getting paid well. We don't want to cause any waves. Fuck it. Let's just do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there wasn't much thought put to it. There wasn't much heart put. Like it was badly done. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's just really, yeah. I would, what is funny? It's like when we and here's the thing too. It's like when we talk about, like we have to talk about Raw each week, or we have to talk about the WWF every single week on the show because it's our audience, right? I just cringe, haven't even discussed it.
Bro, not only that.
It's like I want to talk.
Here's another guy. Let me tell you, guys.
There's nothing. Well, here's the thing. There's nothing like that we've talked about. Like a progressive storyline that's been going on a weekly basis that you're saying that each week they're writing for this storyline and like writing segments we can't even discuss that because there's nothing. That's what I like to discuss.
Bro, let me tell you how let me tell you another thing that they did.
No stories going on.
Let me tell you another thing they did that to me was hot shotting. So here's another thing that I'm hating about the show. They have Shane McMahon like beating everybody up,
Right.
And so they had a match. It was him and fucking Drew McIntyre, like a handicap match against Roman Reigns, where, McIntyre hit him with something and then Shane hit him with the spear. Okay.
Right.
And I was like, this is ridiculous. But then they did something that I thought was cool because I always pop for this. Shane gets up on the top rope and the lights go out and you hear the Undertaker's music. And when the lights go back on, Shane jumps off the third rope and the Undertaker catches him and choke slams him. And he went real high for him, which I thought was cool. But, it's like, it's almost like, why was the Undertaker even showing up? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel they're just hot-shotting,
Absolutely. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, it is exactly what they're doing,
I guess the Viking Springs are now called the Viking Raiders. Bro, that was another thing. There was this thing where AJ Styles is doing an interview, right? Mm-hmm. And this was so JoJo, and I love both these guys. I really do because they're very nice with Gallows and Anderson. So he's doing this interview, and all of a sudden you hear the conga line coming by, right? And it's, that Jose guy and like the whole conga thing, and Gallows and the other guy are in it, Mm-hmm. And AJ's like, yeah, man, what happened to the guys that I knew that I met in Japan? They were real tough guys. They weren't doing this. And yeah, man, yeah, we got to go back out there. And it was so JoJo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brutal.
But I will say I did like the Ron Truth thing with Carmella in the ring and Drake Maverick coming out and then Carmella going, hey, man, you did mess up his wedding. He wants his wife back. And Drake goes, I don't want my wife back. I want my title back. But that whole thing is funny. So to me, I like the Firefly thing, and I like the Wrong Truth thing, and that might be about the only thing I'm liking.